I'd like to thank the moderator for today's conference, today's session, dignitaries on the dais and esteemed colleagues. I'll keep my delivery very short and simple because I know we are running against time, and also this is the graveyard shift as we speak. So, well, just to give you a perspective, presently all over the world we have around 1.78 billion smartphone users. Out of that, in India presently we have roughly more than 117 million smartphone users. By the end of 2019 we'll have 652 million smartphone users. So we are actually going to overtake the United States of America and come somewhere close to China. By the end of 2015, 9 out of 10 travel consumers in the world will have a mobile subscription. 92% of travelers in the world, their choices of travel are heavily influenced by social media and mobile applications which are travel based. 52% determine their travel plans based on social media and mobile applications. And $40 billion is the present size of the mobile application driven travel trade market. These are statistics drawn from World Travel Mart, AC Nielsen and a plethora of other surveys. Now when I come down to tourism in Goa, Goa, as you all know, presently gets around 5 million tourists every year, out of which 4.5 million tourists are domestic tourists and about 500,000 are international foreign tourists. Now, having said that, there is a lot of potential. In fact, if one looks at the tourism sector, increasingly we are, shedding the e-governance skin and coming into the m-governance skin, given the statistics that I've just shared with you. Now, as a tourism department in Goa, things which would interest me and excite me on the m-governance are basically segmented into 3 categories. One is, if I look primarily as a government department, what are the services which I can provide on a mobile platform? So in Goa, the tourism department is basically implementing 2 major legislations. One is the Tourist Trade Act of 1982 and the second is the Tourist Places Protection and Maintenance Act 2001. Under the Registration Act, I am supposed to act as a licensing authority for different kinds of tourist trade. So the Department of Tourism has partnered with GEL, and very soon, in about a couple of months' time, hopefully by the beginning of August or the end of August, we should have an e-licensing system in place, which we will, in which we will have 2 VFS-like Seva Kendras, where you can, so you have an offline model for those who are not tech savvy, and then you also have an online registration, where you fill up an application form. Everything is done online, including printing of your certificate is also online, so you don't need to come to my office. And hopefully we should be able to port this onto a mobile application, say about 6 months after we launch this service. So also m-governance can help us to set up some kind of a Twitter-like system within offices, so that different verticals within my office are talking to each other, are simultaneously updated about their different subject matters and what are the tasks for the day and things like that. So I think this is something where m-governance can make routine administrative tasks a little more interesting and flamboyant. Apart from that, from a consumer point of view, which is really the market that I'm looking at, the first thing that I think we need to have in place in Goa is a Wi-Fi setup, which is not there. So the tourism department is very actively trying to come up with a free Wi-Fi service, hopefully, if you're able to get the revenue model right, for the entire coastal stretch, because that's where I get the maximum number of tourists. And then slowly I have a plan to universalize this facility as a department to other important tourist attractions all over Goa. So this would spread into the hinterland, into places of religious importance, into the waterways, so on and so forth. Apart from that, it's also very important then to, once the enabling environment is created, to then bring on certain genre of tourism products and services, because people today are searching on social media, on the internet, on mobile devices for itineraries, things to do, places to visit, restaurants to eat, places to buy, and they also want something where a value for money product or service emerges out of this search. So if you presently look at the way different kinds of search engines or sites are presently structured, you find that you have a large amount of information which you require to sort out, you require to make intelligible, and it's only then that you can make sense of it. So we are looking to build products which will be like a marketplace, like an event aggregator, which will basically provide information to users who are visiting Goa before they visit, during their visit, and after their visit. We are also looking to build a feedback mechanism. This feedback mechanism will help us to identify gaps which exist in infrastructure, which exist in services, some kind of grievances which people face. So these will help us to upscale and improve the quality of our tourism services in the days to come. The third thing we want to do is issue alerts. I'll give you an example. About 1.5 months back, there was a situation where a large number of jellyfish washed up onto the beach. Now, this is a time when you don't really want to venture out into the water. So suppose if I have a system where I'm able to provide a free Wi-Fi connection to somebody, the only criteria being he has to come in through a Goa tourism app. And if I have about, say, about 2.5 million users on that platform, I can push out alerts. So alerts when the sea is rough, alerts if, for example, a particular artery of, in terms of their movement, a particular artery is choked, so they should seek a diversion. So this is a very useful platform for me to push out alerts, to push out relevant information which a tourist should keep in mind from the point of view of his safety and security. Apart from that, accommodation and travel. This is where a marketplace is important. A large number of bed and breakfast or homestay establishments in Goa require to be curated, required to be put together in a way which becomes interesting for an end user to read, to discern, and to book, and finally come and occupy. So I think, largely speaking, on 4 counts, if we get our infra right, if we are able to structure the right pricing solution, we are able to develop good content and finally have a proper aggregation, not by reinventing the wheel, but by culling or mining data from existing data sets which already exist on the internet. I think very exciting growth prospects and a very exciting future as far as mGovernance in Goa, particularly in the tourism sector.